the sun. This is, you may relate when you have decided to take some responsibility in the way you have chosen to feel. When for the first time you say, wow, anything that I have experienced in my life is a result of my choices. Any pain, I choose it because maybe I need it, or I was ignorant, I didn't know better, or I got overpowered by the mind, or I wanted to apply my will, or I want to gain something. This is the first recognition that moves you to the second pulse of the heart. And in this pulse, dynamics opens for you. Not only a dynamic, but also layers where you start walking towards knowing who you really are. In this first recognition, a new dynamics open for you. A new accelerating strength comes your way. When you have acknowledged that you are not dependent on anything and in anybody, but in your own proper strength. So if you can imagine that at one moment, the energy that was outside, looking for stuff or wanting something from others, start to gather into one place. For the first time, the prana start to go within. For the first time, you start to construct a vessel or an organ or a recipient or a bulb, the ones that pulse, that is going to circulate your life in a complete different path. This chamber of the heart, it is linked to inspiring souls. It's when the synchronicities of the right leg start meeting the synchronicities of the left leg. When you are actually receiving from earth the aids that you need in order to purify it. And this is the key word here. You start acknowledging and you start letting go the things that you don't need anymore. This is the moment where usually we have crisis, when our work change or somebody dies, or we're called to move countries. In my case was I was probably 22 when my teacher say, you have to go to the north and teach over there. So, well, I don't speak the language. I don't like to to dress anything. I am the Caribbean queen here. I am in the tropics. I don't want to go anywhere. And I did resist, but a flatness comes into my life. Nothing was really progressing. My heart was not accelerating in passion and strength. I didn't have any force that was forcing me to grow. Something that was limiting my belief that I need to overpass. So that is the first thing that you kind of touch. Whoa, I need to go in places that I don't want to admit, I don't want to acknowledge. It's hard for me to do that because it poked my pride, right? It poked my pride. Wow. Then you can step back into that path and then you can apply certain techniques or certain things you learn in the path just to keep wellness. That's fine. At least you have overcome that pull and push of the duality and the war somehow subdue a bit. However, it's not enough for you to construct the full mandala of your heart, because in that recognition of your own responsibility, you start looking back, not in the terms of past, but in the terms of all the contributions that you have made to produce certain actions within yourself or in others. You start understanding the law of feedback, where you do something and you are going to receive exactly the same frequency, the same impact, the same feeling, the same mind sound, because that's the law. The law of the heart is I give and I receive. I give and I receive exactly what I receive. It's part of the first construction of the pulse. You can be giving and giving and giving. You can be very generous. But if you're not making the step of your left foot, which is the one that receive, is the feminine, that in surrender you are acknowledging that you do need everything and everybody, that you are a child in these experiences and you don't know everything, that you need certain guidance. Admitting that is huge, because your pride start to diminish. You start to be a little bit more curious, a little bit more innocent. And then little by little, the pulse, in each pulse of that heart, of the middle heart, in each pulse, a little drop of recognition, a little drop of responsibility comes into your awareness. You start seeing, if I oppress someone, that oppression is going to come back to me. If that control is going to be reflected on me. And it's like a mirror, a house mirror, where you are in front of everything you have chosen for you in this form and in other forms. It's the great valley of your actions, past actions and present actions. It's linked as well with the selection of your parents. What is the pulse? What is the karma of your lineage, of your biological lineage? Therefore, this pulse of the heart, it wants to shake anything that is not in alignment with self-responsibility. You may be out of sentimentality, out of compassion. You may say, I will incarnate in this particular family to help them to have certain things. Yes, you may help, but you forget the self-responsibility. You forget the task that you come for, and then you just sink into the habituals of the family, the education, the social structure, etc. And with that, then you lose a little bit of that middle heart pulse that is simply saying, look what you are here for. Look what you have done. Look what is your tools. Look what is your glory. Look what is your reassurance. Look who is your allies. Look who is synchronized for you. All this is a moment of inner reflection. That's when in silence retreat we do. It's just a big introspection, so you have the opportunity to see your past actions and to heal them and forgive them. That's a key word in here, is you admit what is it you have done, the consequences of it, and you don't go in the little heart, oh poor me, I have done this, I am finished, this is the end of my path, I am too bad, I am That's the way it is, I have not changed. But no, you're not acknowledging the great now that is forming you every time. You're just still holding on belief system. You're still holding in the sentimentality and the little heart. But when you realize that, okay, I have done that, and because I needed that little pain. I needed a little rustle inside. I needed that little biological parent. I needed this challenge in my life right now. I have created, and I have created in the synchronicity that I am able to handle it at the right time with the right sustaining support. So this is huge for people because we want to solve our own pain and our own things intimately. Oh, nobody should know how embarrassed I am, or how much I compare myself, or what I did in the past, or how I am feeling now. No, just relax. Nobody's judging you. God is not judging you. Nobody is paying really attention to what's going on within you. They are in their own sphere, they are in their own world, they are on their own things. You are not that important after all, except for your own heart, for your own creation. So, that's the first thing. Admit with no sense of regrets, with no sense of I want it to be different, with no guilt. It was the way it was, and that's it. And you're receiving the consequences, and maybe you don't like the consequences, but that's what it is. So the big piece here, the big passage, the big gate of this heart, of this pulse, is forgiveness. When you are actually humbling, accept your creation and your belief systems just the way they are, and you make the appropriated shifting in your position and your point of view, you look at it differently. In that way, then you change, you heal. This is a huge mandala, because this mandala, when we talk in a larger space, this mandala is, number one, attached or connected to why you are here. What is the lessons that you have signed up to see in the experiential world? Number two, it's attached to the collective pulsation of the planet, the collective mind of the planet, the humans, the trees, the thoughts of Gaia itself. So what is it that in her different passages and the passages of humanity, you are linked? So the self-responsibilization comes from the simple acknowledgement that, wow, if I throw a plastic in the ocean, it's going to impact the ecosystem and things like that. So you have to deal with that as well. It's not only your own little conversations in your body or related to your destiny. It's also related to the countless actions that humanity have done in atrocities. All the violence, all the raping, all the cannibalism, all the suffering of the land, especially that's why it's so important to know where you live and what had happened in there, because that creates certain breeding for your thoughts and your karma. And if you have an alignment with that and your belief system, you're going to recycle that over and over, and feeling the pain, feeling it down, feeling that you cannot get out of it. And we have do practices to clean the the earth and that. It's a big job. But anyway, it's related to that deposit of suffering into the layer, one of the layers of the earth that is not that far and is very, very tangible. Just last night, it was the full moon. It was the full moon of October, and I was in my little cottage here in the Madeleines. And I was having dinner, and out of the blue, I turn around and I see a zombie. Not only one, but two, but three. I say, what is going on? What is going on? I am in front of the ocean, and I open the door, and I look, and I saw these troops of zombies coming towards the islands, passing through my cottage and going into the other side of the island. And then I saw boats also in that realm. And then when I comment that to Matthew, he say, oh, remember that there are 500 ships who sunk in there, and they have a history that many thousands of people die in the sea. Let me click to myself. This is the emanation that if I am not conscious, if I am not aware that this is happening around, and if I don't take it personally, oh, it's because it's a ghost or something. No, it's just a simple view as I am seeing the sea. But it is souls that are in different poles, is seeking something. I don't know what is the rhythm. They may come every full moon and visit the island, hoping somebody heal them or elevate it. I didn't take the job. My point is that you do participate in all timelines of any incarnation in certain events, and those events are within your heart pulse. They are guiding, healing, or circumstances or synchronicities for you to look at it, those pieces, and to reclaim back that power, that acknowledgement, that forgiveness, that action. We all have been criminals. We all have been controlling. We all have been cruel. We all have been retrieving ourselves from others, from sharing, from being seen. We all have done it. So in that retro impulse, in the feedback, how we deal with that, how you now is able to relax in front of your choices, and choices that perhaps have made you sick, choices that perhaps have stressed the system to a point where you just cannot think anymore, and that this is the time for you to reprogram. This is the time where the slower breath start to work in the subconscious. The lower breath start to cleaning the middle of the brain. Remember, the first, maybe I didn't mention in the first video of the little heart, but the first heart pulsate with the front side of the nervous system. So you are aware of things and with the senses. This middle heart relates to the middle of the brain, just the part of your subconscious. That's when you dream. That's when you go into places that it make no sense for you, but they are pieces inside the cellular pulse that are linking to certain memory. Of course, in the dream, it may not have any sense, neither in your conscious life, but it is part of the electrical pulse of your heart. When that pulse is complete, when you review all your timelines, when you are and neutrality, looking at it with no intervention, and I underline this, no intervention, please, because you cannot change that in a sense of, I lived that. You can change your perspective about that, but the event itself continues to be part of your experiences, part of your molecular memory, part of your library, your living library inside, right? So it's not something to go against. It's just simply look at it, admit, forgive, and perhaps if it's appropriated, you need to do an act of compensation, meaning that if you have done something cruel to somebody, to earth, just plant a tree. Just do something that compensates your ignorance. Do something that serve, and isn't here where seva and service, selfish or selfless service, seva, can play a big role in you giving, and in that conscious giving, you are receiving in the same matter. You are receiving in the same frequency. But it has to be with awareness, otherwise you burn out. It's just a simple awareness that, yes, who are you serving? Are you serving your ego? Are you serving your self-interest? Are you serving your agenda? Are you serving your overwhelmness? Are you serving your stories? Are you serving your little mind? Are you serving my emotions? Are you defending your lives, your surviving, your power, your vanity? Who you are serving? Who you are serving? That's when the heart, that second heart shift, boom, it just completely shift, because then you are consciously selecting something that is in relationship with the biggest word I'm going to pronounce now. You are synchronizing, you serving with your passion. You are synchronizing the pungency and strength of the heart to be in alignment with some kind of service that is not about you. It's about a bigger picture. You may not see the bigger picture, but by you doing your passion over and over and over and following it in the best capacity you can, in the most positive way you can, until it exhausts itself, you are then moving into the third pulse of the heart, the third chamber, the third gate, the bigger picture of why you're here. And that comes just simply by the serenity, the forgiveness, the passage that, okay, I need to go through all this and clean up my house. This is a transformational time. This is a time where I need to review my choices. This is a time that I need to see my body, my mind, my emotions in a direction that is now experiencing my choices. Now, a clarification. Your past is here. It's not that you need to look back. It's that you need to simply revisit what are the belief systems that you dwell on it, that you were comfortable on it, that you just simply have complacency in it, and are operating now. They are operating. All your karmas, all your feedback is happening right now. So any health issue, any mind distortions, any emotions, anxiety, negativity, all that mostly refers to consequences of actions coming from low frequency belief systems. So saying that, this meditation, I cannot tell you all this and not give you the tools. I have to give you the tools. And the tools, number one, is smooth, lower, consistent, and deeper breath. That's how you are going to approach this class. Any movement that we do, any meditation, we will try to induce that kind of breath, so you may encounter sensations. What to do with those sensations, with those thoughts, with those memories? Relax. Let that energy field to dissipate, to expand, instead of having just so contracted, so tense, so full of guilt and judgment and so on. Just simply tap into the field and relax the field. That field naturally will synchronize with other organs of your body, will synchronize with the specific cells that are ready to support you, and it will synchronize with the synchronicities that you need in your daily life, the food, the people, the environment, to heal. So it's a very simple passage, though it can be intense, and it can be total, and it can be humbling, and it can be a step forward and a step back. It can be we want to play around. It can be in a different rhythm, depends on your choice. But in either case, the passage of transmutation, when you admit your choices, your belief systems, and you start seeing that those beliefs may not be, that you're not there anymore, that you're just simply not there anymore, and that you are ready to upgrade into a more mature part of the heart. So I may have something else to say, but for now it's just a matter of being conscious and not to tap too much into the mind, not to psychoanalyze it too much, not to make a big deal, not to make books about your suffering and your actions and so on. Yeah. We're here in the Madeleines. Behind me is one of the I don't know how to say that in English, the big light. I thought it was appropriate to teach you today about you are the beaming light of your life, and the heart is really the center where your realization will come from. So thank you again for being with me and to listen to me and to wanting to heal, because remember, you are aiding Earth. You are aiding humanity as your own humanity upgrade to a greater consciousness. Namaste.